More than 800 people with one mission, promoting a healthy environment. We are the West Virginia Department of Environmental Protection.
It began following a blackwater spill by a coal company several years ago. When the company offered to compensate a local canoeing outfitter, the owner instead wanted something done for the river. Since 2007, the DEP has partnered with the Coal River Group and other agencies on a multi-million-dollar restoration of the Little Coal River. As the DEP's Mike Huff found out, as the project nears completion, it's already showing results.
Sometimes the problems with a river aren't always obvious from the surface. Sometimes you need to look deeper.
Coal River has been known for having high water quality for a long time. The problem with it is it's loaded with sand and sediment from years of industrial activity, mining, timbering, other things like that. And so as a result, the water quality is good enough to sustain a very good aquatic life, fish and other things. But the habitat doesn't exist.
Specifically, suitable habitat for the first link in the food chain.
The sediments are generally what chokes the cobble out of the river, and that's where the bugs build up and live, is in the cobble. So what we wanted to do is promote that cobble in the center channel, push the sand back out to the banks.
The Little Coal River watershed covers more than 380 square miles. All those man-made disturbances over the last 100 years or so contributed to bank erosion, which increased the sediment load in the entire Coal River watershed.
And over time, this river has downcut, which means it has dug in. The river was no longer able to reach its floodplain, which caused scour along the banks. The river's trying to widen out to carry all the flood flows, which increases sediment load even more.
Fixing that meant changing the flow of the river, but that's easier said than done.
So what we were able to do with the construction activity that you see behind us is we're able to put resources into the river and build structures. We call them structures. There's a lot more technical names for them. We're able to build these structures, hundreds of them actually, along a long stretch of Little Coal River here, and provide the habitat necessary for aquatic life to thrive.
And that calls for some heavy equipment and a surprisingly light touch. The work is being done by Appalachian Stream Restoration. The structures, things with names like cross vanes, J-hooks, and woody toes, all serve to speed up and direct the flow, while stabilizing the banks and minimizing future erosion.
These guys are using 2 to 4 ton boulders to build these structures with, and you've got to give a lot of credit to the operators who are in the stream working. They've got guys out with leveling rods that are getting these guys to place boulders on top of each other and being within 0.3 of a foot accuracy, which is very tough to do.
Those changes have helped return the river to a more natural state, a series of pools, riffles, runs, and glides.
Prior to this project, this was just like a long skinny lake, and canoeing and paddling and using the river for recreational purposes was just not any fun.
And with the project nearing completion, the effects are obvious.
We've got studies from both West Virginia University and Marshall that show in some of the early stages where these structures went in, it was a predominantly sand bed stream. Within 2 years, that predominantly sand bed section of stream has now become cobble. Once it moves the sediment out, we're still staying cobble, and that's good for the bugs and the aquatic life. So the project's working, it's doing a really good job, and the fish seem to love these structures.
Work is nearly complete on roughly 17 miles of river. It's by far the largest stream restoration project in West Virginia, or anywhere else in the Appalachian Highlands for that matter, possibly even the entire eastern United States. And it's come with some lessons.
We were better at this than we were 10 years ago. 10 years ago, we'd put a couple rocks in the stream and think we had enhanced the stream. Now it's a science. It's kind of a mix. The guys like to talk about it being a mix between a science and an art form in exactly how you place these structures and how you make it work, so that the river doesn't wash it out, but the structures work in order to enhance the river.
Along the Little Coal River in Boone County, I'm Mike Huff for Environment Matters.
Secretary Huffman said it's been a collaborative effort between several government agencies, businesses, and volunteers to bring the project to completion. The project complements several other restoration efforts throughout the Coal River watershed. Up next, a conference focused on recycling, reuse, and sustainability. Here's from a company that's spreading that message as it saves and repurposes architectural salvage. Plus, the DEP awards thousands in grants to help fund electronics recycling events like this one all across the state. We'll have details coming up after the break.